Welcome to State of the Offense. Today we will look at the Week 2 matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Atlanta Falcons. Jordan Love's debut against the Chicago Bears in Week 1 went much better than anyone could realistically expected. Love put up 31 fantasy points, which made him the quarterback 3 in the league. His 3 touchdown passes were the main difference maker for him in his game in Chicago. He averaged 9.1 yards per attempt with a 55.6% completion percentage. The Falcons only gave up 12 fantasy points to Bryce Young in his debut last week. 2 players in this game who are questionable, Green Bay wide receiver Christian Watson and Atlanta cornerback Jeff Okudah, may have something to say about how good Week 2 is for Jordan Love. Love's game against the Bears was without Watson, who is his number 1 wide receiver. So Watson, along with Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed at wide receiver and Luke Musgrave at tight end, may allow Love to reach a ceiling in Week 2. Aaron Jones is doubtful for the game, so a very valuable check down option is getting a bit of a downgrade from Aaron Jones down to A.J. Dillon. Left tackle David Bakhtiari is doubtful, so Love may be pressured from his blind side more than normal with Yosh Nijman at left tackle. I rank Jordan Love as my quarterback 16 this week. With Aaron Jones being doubtful, A.J. Dillon now gets the opportunity to show what he can do with a full workload. I do not expect Patrick Taylor to get kind of snap share as the backup as what Dillon normally gets when Jones is the starter. Aaron Jones scored 26 fantasy points in Week 1, including a breakaway receiving touchdown. While I understand that Dillon is not flyer that Jones is, Dillon is a very capable and very versatile running back. I also feel that the Packers will give Dillon a lot of carries because of the Bakhtiari injury at left tackle. I rank A.J. Dillon as my running back 5 this week. Atlanta's down a starting inside linebacker with Troy Anderson, so the Falcons are a little short-handed in the front 7. This may be the debut of the Packers' 4 main pass catchers with Jordan Love. Christian Watson missed Week 1 with a hamstring, and both Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed had snap shares around 50%. If Watson, Doubs, Reed, and Luke Musgrave are all on the field with Love, the Falcons will have a tough time matching up, especially if Jeff Okudah doesn't play. Christian Watson is my wide receiver 49, Jaden Reed is my wide receiver 71, and Romeo Doubs is my wide receiver 73. The Falcons will deliberately try to shorten the game by running Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier as much as possible, so the Packers may not need to pass too much in this contest nor get the opportunity. The over for this game is 40 points, and the Packers are 1.5 point favorites. The debut of second-round rookie tight end Luke Musgrave went fairly well. Musgrave was targeted 4 times and had 3 receptions for 50 yards. This amounted to 8 fantasy points in PPR. Only 7 tight ends in the league did better than 8 points, and Musgrave was part of a group of 6 tight ends who scored 8 points, so Musgrave was a solid start in his first professional game. The Falcons have good safety, so I'm not going to rate Musgrave too highly, plus this will be his first game with Watson on the field. I rank Luke Musgrave as my tight end 30 in Week 2. Desmond Ridder's 5th start looked a lot like his first 4 starts at the end of last season. Ridder was very efficient on a few sharp throws in the game. He was 15 of 18 with a 6.4 yards per attempt. He caught one of his own passes, so of the 17 passes he threw to other people, 9 were to Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. Ridder did not produce on the ground either. Ridder produced 11 fantasy points with a touchdown pass included. If you take that Robinson touchdown away, we're looking at 5 fantasy points from a quarterback who played the whole game. The Falcons have weapons all around Ridder, so a good game is reachable. I rank Ridder as my quarterback 21 this week. The debut of first-round running back Bijan Robinson went pretty well considering that Tyler Algier outcarried him 15-10. Bijan made his mark as a pass catcher with 6 receptions and a receiving touchdown. In PPR scoring, Bijan tallied 19 points in his debut. Tyler Algier had an excellent game in Week 1. The Atlanta backfield will not be a one-man show this year. Algier was also thrown to 3 times, which padded his points some. He had 23 fantasy points, which included 2 rushing touchdowns. Green Bay's defense is more talented than Carolina's, but the Falcons' offensive line is good enough to establish the run. Plus, Green Bay still has to account for Kyle Pitts and Drake London. Bijan Robinson is my running back 6 this week, and Tyler Algier is my running back 11 this week. I believe the success of the Falcons duo continues this week. Drake London had 118 targets as a rookie in this offense last year. 1 target in week 1 with a 90.4% snap share for a guy who was the number 8 pick in the draft in 2022 is absolutely absurd. Jair Alexander is a tough matchup at cornerback for London, so there is a good possibility that Drake London doesn't produce in fantasy this week either. Matt Collins was a bit of a surprise in week 1. He caught 3 balls for 31 yards, which was much more than the 0 London produced. Until I know that Desmond Ridder will throw the ball to Drake London downfield, I have to rate Drake London lower than his talent level. Drake London is my wide receiver 80 this week. Matt Collins will draw a much easier cornerback in Kayshawn Nixon, so I rank him as my wide receiver 39 this week. Kyle Pitts led the Falcons in receiving yards last week, which is a good sign for people who had him last year and had to deal with him being the bust of the year. The problem is that Pitts only had 2 catches on 3 targets for 44 yards. This guy is a recent number 4 overall pick in the draft. The Falcons are wasting this guy's talent. I think that Pitts will likely draw Rasul Douglas as his matchup, so the Falcons may be able to scheme some good looks with play action to Pitts over the top. I rank Kyle Pitts as my tight end number 6 this week. If you like today's coverage of the Packers-Falcons game, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.